Hey, it's Tim.
And it's Amy from GoWithLess. We're glad you're here. In this month's video, we're going to share all about our June. We're still in Europe, 4 months this summer. We had time in Spain, on a Mediterranean cruise, and in the UK. We're going to share all about it today.
In 2015, Amy and I retired in our late 40s, and in January of 2020, we sold our home and became full-time nomads. On the third Wednesday of every month, we were here on our channel talking about our spending for the prior months. We'll be talking about June of 2022. We target spending about $4,000 a month, and we'll share with you today how we did.
Okay, so this video our monthly videos now are long. It's not just a spending video, it's like, what are we doing? So it's almost in two halves. The first half is all about what we did and some stories about all of that. And the second half is all the spending. So they're all broken down into chapters, and you're welcome to move around. So just note that that's there. If you're like, whoa, this is a long video. Yeah, it is. There's a lot that happened in June. Okay, so where were we? We started the month in Sitges. In our last video in May, in our May video, you saw that we ended in Sitges, Spain. It is glorious there. We finished a house sit on in the beginning of the month, and we had a one night in Barcelona that just was like a little tourist night before we hopped on a cruise from Barcelona all around France and Spain, and then we made our way up to Oxford, England, where we were on another house sit for 12 nights in Oxford. And then we took the train up to the very last day on June 30th up to Scotland. So we're going to talk all about filling in the blanks, but that was kind of like the boilerplate.
Yeah.
So we're not going to talk much, though, today about Sitges because we talked about it a lot in the last video. We're also there for part of July and August. We still loved it in June. It is heaven on earth. We can't wait to go back.
Yeah, it was phenomenal.
Yeah. So we're going to buzz through Sitges and get onto our cruise number 2. We were on Royal Caribbean Vision of the Seas again.
Yep. So the first thing we're going to say about this cruise is it just wasn't the same as our transatlantic journey, and that was predominantly because we made a lot of friends on our cruise on the way across the Atlantic, and that made all the difference. It was just a phenomenal experience because we had lots of people to interact with. We would go out we played trivia with them multiple times. We went out on multiple ports. It was just a fantastic experience. On this cruise, we had one friend, a viewer, who was there, but she was there on a girlfriend trip. And so she spent all of her time with her girlfriend. And so
she was on a regular vacation.
Yeah, she was on a regular
so she's
vacation.
doing like specialty dining and excursions and all kinds of fun vacation-y stuff.
Yep. So
the spa.
And then to top it off, we had the same waiter that waited on us on our last cruise. We asked for him, and we were lucky enough to have him again. The table that they set us at, though, was a 6-person table. We were the only people there at our seating. And so we came into the dining room, and it was very lonely at the table. So we didn't have an opportunity to meet people during our dining experience either, so we just didn't really have a chance to gather up people and have the same sort of experience we had before. So that was one of the things about the cruise. Also, the ship itself. So being familiar with the cruise, with the ship, I think was a downside because it's kind of fun to sort of explore something new, and just being in the same spot again, it just didn't feel as fresh, I think, as our first journey.
Yeah, there were a lot of the same people, which was, I mean, there's good and bad, like the
same
crew.
Staff. Yep.
Yeah, the crew. And Royal Caribbean knocks it out of the park with service.
Yep.
So the crew was excellent. Our waiter, we were so lucky to have him, Ajit. We love him. But yeah, and on the very first day, we're like, this feels different. And on our very first cruise, we talked about that extensively in last month's video in May. We had only 4 ports, 14 nights. This one, we had 8 nights, 7 ports. So, and because we're doing 52 nights of cruising this year, we're not out doing like excursions every single day and specialty dining every single day, or the drinks package even. Like, we're really kind of sticking to the bare bones, except for one little extra. We don't really add on a lot of stuff onto our cruises. So it didn't give us a lot of opportunity to meet people at the excursions and stuff like that. And we realized it right away, like, oh, this is different. And when Tim mentions our friends, like, they were friends with each other too. So it was nice because it was like a little group, and we really hit it off, all of us.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Yeah. So this is just different.
Yeah, but it was really nice ports. So we got off in 3 ports in France, in Sète, Toulon, and Corsica. Other 4 ports in Spain were Mallorca, where we had been on our last cruise, Ibiza, Cartagena, and Valencia, another port we were on our last cruise. So the bummer, we were all excited for all these ports, and they're all Mediterranean ports. And here's what we have realized in these beautiful Mediterranean cities, because we've seen a lot of them this year. They are just beautiful. They're colorful. There are palm trees. The sea is like a major theme. Everywhere you look, there's like the sea and just beautiful vistas, and each one of them was stunning.
Yep. So, and it certainly was fantastic to see the new ports. Also, some of the ports. Did we just cover one redo? So Valencia was the only one.
We'll talk about that in just a second. Yeah. Okay. Well, so the problem is that I got really, really sick on the second day of the cruise. So on our second port day, and every single day was a port day, we were out ready to meet dear friends. One of my girlfriends from middle school lives in France. So she and her partner came, met us for a full day of breakfast and lunch. I was sick as a dog. They're like, no big deal. We are okay. We were outside and all that. But I took a COVID test just a couple of days earlier to get on the boat. I took a test that morning to make sure I didn't have COVID. I tested again a couple days later. I was negative the entire time, but I had a horrible sore throat and I felt awful, like really just feverish and bad. So that really affected the rest of our cruise because it went downhill from there. So on port day 3 through the end, actually even until we left Spain, I was in sad shape with feverish and coughing up phlegm and just bad. And so some of our port days, we only got off and went to the pharmacy and came back. Sadly, in the lovely town of Valencia, we were excited to go see it again. We were really excited for a GoWithLess meetup. We were going to meet a couple friends who were doing a house sit there. They were like, no way, you're sick, we're not coming. We get it. We agree. And then a lovely family we met in Mexico, in Guadalajara. They were going to come and meet us. They're Nomadic. They're there with their young son, their 12-year-old. We were so excited to see them. So Drew, if you're watching, a 12-year-old viewer, we absolutely love it. We're sorry we didn't see you, and we're excited to see you somewhere really cool. Not Valencia. Okay, so that was it for. But we really like to beat. So we did do some walking around, but it was definitely compromised. And what we're realizing is that we really want to try to make it work with coordinating with friends and this isn't just me, who everyone knows I love meeting people. This is you too.
I think something I guess I'm a little introverted, and so. But something that I've realized, and maybe Amy just has known this from the get-go, and she's finally got me to buy into it. But so a shared experience is certainly the best experience, and so when we can go and do something.
I've been brainwashing
That's
you.
right. As a group, is there something about it? So it's just that makes it more magical than just the two of us. We do the fact that we get to share our experiences, just the two of us. That's also great. But when we have more people, it's actually it's even better. So.
Well, and on this cruise, though, we did have a big bump up, and we opted to get a balcony room. We are like inside cabin kind of people. So the fact that we had a balcony is like, holy moly, we were feeling like we were in the lap of luxury. And it was a much bigger room, which is helpful when we're carrying a year of stuff with us. So it was just really nice to have that extra space in the balcony. And we did another royal up. We talked about that in the last video. We did it to get upgraded from a inside to an outside for a reasonable amount. This time it was $300. We did have a cruise credit. You're going to see that coming up soon. But we had this nice, big, beautiful balcony. So after the cruise, we made our way to.
So after the cruise, we hopped in a taxi when we got back into the cruise port. We had to get up really early in the morning and get to the airport. I think our flight was at 5. It was in the afternoon.
We had like 7 hours at the airport.
So we were at the airport for a really long time. We got to the airport around 9. We went to a lounge thanks to one of the credit cards we have. I think it's my Capital One Venture X card. We have lounge access through Priority Pass. And so we were supposed to only be in the lounge for 3 hours, but they let us stick around or didn't throw us out. We were there for 6 hours, you said? So we were there for a really long time.
At least.
So the cool thing about the lounge is so Amy got to nap. That's something you're probably not going to do out in the normal airport. They had a couch situation where she was able to lay down and I could sort of keep my eye on her.
I was hurting.
I got to drink. And then we had unlimited food.
I got to keep my eye on you.
That's right. And then we had food, and we had a little Wi-Fi that worked a little better than out in the airport. So
for me, it was just the nap.
Yes,
really.
These were all great things to be in the lounge and just and maybe a little quieter experience. So we were happy to have that. After the lounge, we hop on our Vueling flight. So we had paid for this in months past. You won't see that in our spending this month. So we fly into Gatwick in London. And we hop off the plane. Everything goes smooth. here's something really cool. When we go through customs or whatever you do when you go into a new country, so UK is no longer part of the EU, and so we have to clear customs when we come into the UK. So all we did is we didn't speak with a person at all. We scanned our passport. It said, "Yep, you're good to go. The door's open. We're in." That was it. So it was kind of cool.
It was like a subway turnstile.
Yeah, it was cool. And so,
But actually, I do want to say that a big reason why we're up in the UK, one of them is for better weather in the summer, cooler temperatures, and the other one is to get us out of Schengen, because with our 4 months in Europe, we were going to blow through our 90 days, and we needed to get out of the Schengen visa zone. So, so the cool thing is, I mean, a good thing is,
stamp when we were in Spain, leaving Spain.
So at least we have some like official, you have left the Schengen zone, even though we had none of that, like maybe going into
the UK.
Yeah,
well, I'm assuming it was electronically registered that we were here.
Let's hope.
So there you go.
Okay.
So we get out of customs, we grab our bags, and we go to get on the bus, which we also had prepaid in prior months, and that was going to take us from the Gatwick out to Oxford. So we go down the bus, and it's supposed to be there in like 45 minutes after we get there. I think we wait for an hour and a half or something like that, a long time. The guy finally shows up with the bus. He's like kind of
bad mood.
He's in a very bad mood. And we're like,
he's like, I've been in traffic forever.
And so he says, "Look, I'm going to take a break, and I'll be back in an hour."
I'm taking a dinner break.
Okay. So our bus, which is supposed to have us into Oxford at a certain time, he goes away, comes back in about an hour and a half, and proceeds to take us to Oxford, and we get in. I think it's a 4.5 hour journey that it turns out to be, when it's certainly not that long to get from Gatwick.
It's like an hour drive. It took us 4.5 hours with waiting at the airport to all the bus stops.
And then as we start to arrive in Oxford, it is raining, like cats and dogs raining. So we're like, oh man, we got to walk a quarter mile when we get off the bus.
Our umbrellas were packed.
So we've had an experience like this before. We were soaked. We just had
this is not
nightmares.
Good. I'm feeling feverish.
Yeah, so it was a bad situation. Luckily, when we get there, the rain stops to just a drizzle. It is freezing cold.
Like we could see our breath.
It was crazy. So we make a short walk to the hotel. We sleep in, and then we go to our sit the next day. Actually, the homeowner comes and picks us up, which was a lovely thing. And so she only lived maybe a couple of miles from the hotel. Yep.
Yeah, and we've had some rock star. Actually, our whole year of house sits have just been extraordinary. We're really grateful, and this was another one. So we had one black lab, and he was a fetcher. So we had a dog who was a lab. She did some fetching, and she kind of give up after 8 throws. She's done. This dog would have died before he gave up. We thought he was going to have a heart attack.
We love every pet that we've ever sat. But this dog, there's something special about. So that I love to go on walks with him and throw the ball, and I think I liked it as much as he did. So just having him bring it back, and he was so excited to do it. It made me excited to take him on a walk. So it was a completely
we love every
win-win.
Do not even prioritize the dogs.
Yeah.
Not always the cats. Most of the cats.
Yeah, just like you can't have favorite children, I guess you can't. But anyway.
You cannot. We love them all.
Yeah.
Okay, so I get to Oxford, and I am still in very bad shape. 8 days of coughing up phlegm, feeling feverish, very bad. And so I want to talk a little bit about an experience I had with the NHS, the National Health Service, that was just extraordinary. And I know a lot of our viewers are interested in how healthcare works abroad when you're traveling. So we do have health insurance, but it covers us for the major stuff. And so it kind of cobbled together how this worked from a variety of sources, because like the locals don't know how it works for a foreigner who's there. They don't know. So I got like a little cobbled together. So I'm going to share it with you in case you ever need it. So there are these things called surgeries, and they seem to, and this is only one person's perspective, so I'm not an expert in any way, but they kind of seem like an urgent care, and they're in your neighborhood, and it doesn't seem...
I think it's also like your general practitioner.
Yeah,
so
I don't know.
This is your doctor, your
I think they
doctor.
are there. Yeah. But it looked like a bit of an urgent care, and so they took down my information to sign me up for temporary NHS for the month, and they said, we're going to call you. You're not going to be seen because it's COVID times. We're not going to have you come in, but the doctor or nurse practitioner or physician's assistant, someone's going to give you a call soon, but you do need a UK phone number. So both of us had, at that point, only Spain SIM card phone numbers. Thankfully, our house sit had a local landline, which really saved us. And they said, we're going to give you a call. I said, well, the hard thing is we got to go take the dog out for a walk. So I can't just be sitting home all day. Like, can you give me any idea when they might call so that I can be available? Because if it goes to voicemail, I'll never know. The homeowner will have that, and they're in Italy. So She said, no problem. I'll call you in like 20 minutes with the appointment. So we waited for like an hour. The dog is looking at us like, I've got to go. I got to go out. I called. I said, hey, like, what's the story? Our poor dog is looking at us and he really wants to get out. She said, we still don't know. I'll give you a call in another hour. Another like hour goes by. We still don't hear. So thankfully, a couple hours later, someone calls, a health professional, doctor, nurse, something, like someone who's in the know, and says, what you have seriously sounds like a bronchial infection. It sounds like you need antibiotics, which I'm very resistant to go on. But they said, it really seems like you need them. I'm going to call in a prescription to the local pharmacy, which is Boots, and you'll go ahead and pick that up. Well, they called me back maybe half an hour later and said, because you're a temporary NHS person and you're not in the system, we're not able to call in this prescription. So just run by. It's 5 minutes away. Bring the prescription into Boots. Boots will fill it for you while you wait, and it will be £9.35.
There was zero cost associated with the NHS.
Zero cost with the surgery, with the medical professional calling me, zero. This was extraordinary. So except for some waiting, which I was able to do at home and not in a waiting room, it was A+. And I think that if I needed more than just, I felt very confident and comfortable with the care that I had. I didn't feel like I needed to be seen in person once I explained everything that was happening.
Yeah. And actually, if we wanted to have a remote visit with our doctor back in the States, we would have had to pay for that. So,
a lot.
Like over $75 to have a
200
medical or whatever a televisit.
Yeah,
so
ridiculous. Yeah. So that was an A+, and it seemed like my antibiotics, my £9.35, was normal going price for prescriptions. It wasn't just that, like in the U.S. where it's just kind of different things have different prices, and we don't have prescription coverage. We like again, our insurance is just for the major stuff. So as soon as I got on that, like the next day, I was markedly improved. I was like almost all better 2 days later. So what I was told from a nurse friend is that if you responded that well, that you definitely needed antibiotics. So it turns out we have not had COVID, and we have been testing a ton. It seems like everyone we know is getting it.
Yep.
And speaking of, we had a couple of viewers in Oxford who did have COVID.
Yeah, we did. So they reached out. We were supposed to get together. They said, we don't feel so well. We probably shouldn't get together. Amy had a conversation with Christine.
Yeah.
With Christine. And she said, we tried to get some food delivered. We tried to get some COVID tests delivered. We don't know if we have COVID, but we're not getting together. So what we volunteered to do.
The stuff isn't coming.
That's right. Yeah. So we said, well, why don't we go get you some groceries? We'll also get you some COVID tests. COVID tests, by the way, at Boots were £2.50. So they were
£5 for £10.
Very, very affordable. So we grabbed them some COVID tests. We grabbed them some meds, some ibuprofen or acetaminophen. We grabbed them some food, and including groceries. We grabbed them some food to eat immediately. We take this to them. They take their COVID test, and they reach out like instantly. They have COVID.
Yeah.
So
thankfully, we didn't have any visiting. Just like a quick, here's your food.
So that's right. So we had a brief encounter with them, and we didn't walk away from that with COVID. And we were able to help them out, and that felt really great. Yeah. So it was fantastic.
And we met another viewer, too, a young woman. We met her for Sri Lankan street food. We didn't eat on the street. We had a nice dinner with her, and that was really nice. It's nice because our community, it doesn't matter what age you are, whether you're like 22 or 82, there's a lot of commonality. And she was young. We had a fabulous time with her.
We did.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about Oxford. This was my first time. I've been to London at least 3 times, and this was my very first time in the UK, not London.
That's the same for me. Well, that's not true.
You had like a
business
thing.
trip. I did something out of London, but it was a business trip. So
And so Oxford is an extraordinary place. If you like history, beauty, Harry Potter, college vibe, international food, fabulousness, you need to get to Oxford.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I can't say enough good things about Oxford. So every place we go, or many places we go, we're like, we're trying to check things off of a list. It's just never going to get off our list. This is a place we would definitely like to spend some time. So
putting out in the universe, you want a good house sit. Long good house sit next summer.
That's right.
In Oxford.
Yes.
Okay, so Oxford is the home of the University of Oxford, which is the oldest English-speaking university in the world. There is so much this is an academic, if you like books, there's libraries, all the museums are, I think they're all free. So, but the colleges, the University of Oxford has all these colleges, maybe like 39 colleges. They've been around for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, and they're all closed to the public. But we happen to be there. We're just wandering into one of the cathedrals, and it was the doors open where it's for prospective students to Oxford can come in and check out like behind the walls and take a tour. Well, we're not prospective students, but they did let us in. So we go into Christchurch, which is one of the colleges, and we found this room that is right out of Harry Potter. The entire town looks like it's right out of Harry Potter, or at least I guess Harry Potter is right out of this town. But it is so cool. It's like the scene where they have their dining hall and the sorting hat scene. Some of the
is modeled after this room.
Modeled after this room. Many very notable people attended Oxford, so you'll see their work. Lewis Carroll and Alice in Wonderland.
I think they instructed there. They all attended there.
I think both. No, both. Okay. I think both. So C.S. Lewis from The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, J.R.R. Tolkien from The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. Einstein had done a presentation there with his theory of relativity. So there's this enormous, just like this brain power in this town is incredible. And then you'll see some motifs around, like Alice in Wonderland. You just see that a little bit around town.
And the natural beauty is phenomenal. So there's just parks, and the Thames runs through the town, fields and fields. So there's lots of gardens. It's just a beautiful place. So.
Yeah. Okay. So we hopped at the very last day. We left our house that we were prepared to come up to Edinburgh, Scotland. Edinburgh. I don't know. Edinburgh. We think is how it says, how it's pronounced. So we hop on a train up to Scotland, and there are strikes. Now, the interesting thing about the strikes is it's not just like there's a strike and it's like there's no trains for a long time. They tell you the strike in advance, like over a week, more than a week in advance, and the strike isn't consecutive days. So it's like a strike day, a not strike day, a strike day, and they tell you when this is.
So you have a chance to possibly redo your travel plans if need be. So luckily on our travel day, no strike.
And that also means that the days that the train is running, maybe it's a little more crazy. So we did get on the train. We made our connection, which it was good because our first train was late. We had a short connection. We did make it because the second train both trains were late, but the luggage situation was a mess. So the train was totally full.
On train one, it wasn't a mess. We just didn't know where to put the luggage. Once we found out where to put the luggage, no problem at all. Second train, it was a problem. There wasn't enough room to really put our bags
every seat full.
Place, so we had to figure out a way to sort of squeeze them in at different parts of the train just to make it happen. So it worked, but it was definitely precarious. So we had to figure it out.
Go with less is the answer.
Yes, we need less stuff.
But still, when you're traveling with it, I don't know. It's like a handbag was all you could have had. Anything else would have been too much.
Pretty much.
Yeah. It's time to get into our June spending. Now, a couple things. Number one, we've tweaked the categories a little bit. So auto and transportation is now just called transportation. We don't have a car. Home and lodging is just called accommodations. Small things like that. Now, I also want to mention that while every penny is accounted for in what we spent, we're not going to talk about every single penny. We're just going to, highlight some of the key things. And you want to get started with...
fish.
Okay.
So starting with health and personal care. New category name here. We spent $1,028, which equates to 28% of the spending we had this month. So the biggest chunk of this is going to be a payment for, I had surgery back in March on my face, this Mohs surgery to remove a skin cancer. And I paid at the time, and it was like $800, and I walked out. I told them I'm going to pay in cash. I want to know what it is. I want to pay you all right now. I walk out, and then sure enough, I get a bill a month later saying, you owe us $476. So I call and say, well, what's this about? I've already paid. And they're like, well, that was to cut you open. This was to close you up. They charged me another $476 to close up the wound. I don't know why they couldn't have told me this whenever I walked out of the practice. But anyway, I still think... Ridiculous. Even after this, though, I think it wasn't a bad deal. It's just the fact that they charged me after the fact was... irritating.
Not cool.
So anyway, that was a big chunk of our health money this month.
And the reason why this isn't covered by our health insurance is because it was a pre-existing condition. Plus, we both have very high deductibles. I think $5,000 each. So even if it was covered, it wasn't going to be covered by with our deductible. It would have gone against our deductible. That's right. Okay. Speaking of health insurance, we use IMG Global. We use the silver package, $205 a month. We have a video all about that up here. You got glasses, $166.
So if you remember from months back, I had this weird event when we were in Texas working on our Mexican residency. I had floaties in my eyes, and I went to see the eye doctor then. Well, I've still had ongoing eye issues. So I thought, well, maybe something's changed. So I'll go see an eye doctor when we're in the UK. So to go get my eye looked at is actually free, or £15. If I bought glasses, the £15 came off, and the $15 was just applied towards my glasses. So I went ahead and bought some glasses, and they looked at my eye and said everything's fine. But I ended up buying some reading glasses because my prescription's different in my two eyes. And so they're like, well, it maybe makes some sense to have this versus just the grocery store reading glasses. And so I went ahead and spent $166 on
They made
glasses.
them. It took a week to make.
Yeah, and so they're also blue blocking, and so I know that's quite a bit of money for reading glasses, considering you can buy them for $3 at the grocery store.
For like 10 pairs.
But I'm happy to have them.
You're having headaches.
Yeah, there's a variety of things going on. My distance vision has also changed a little, and I'm going to get some of those probably later someplace else. So.
Okay, then we had a dental cleaning each. 2 cleanings cost $86. Now, when we were in Spain, Sitges, Spain is an affordable place in general. So we asked our homeowner friends who are expats, where are you going for your cleanings? And they sent us to their dentist, who they really liked. So we went and asked and understood how much it cost. And it was something like about $80, $90 for just the cleaning. You don't see the dentist in anywhere we've ever been. This is now my 3rd cleaning outside of the U.S. You don't see, the dentist isn't like the normal part of it. So anyway, we had, I think, the best cleaning of my life, and it was $43. We did not go to their dentist. We met other friends who are house sitters who were in another nearby town, and not as touristy, not as expensive, just one train ride away, one stop. And they were having she was having major dental surgery. I said, oh, like if you have someone good, like we'd like to go for our cleanings. Fabulous. I'm going to go see the dentist in July there.
The practice was immaculate. By the way, Amy said it was $43. It was $43 by 2 because I also had a cleaning, so it was $86. But the practice was immaculate. They did this thing where they actually took a picture of your teeth like before and after, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And it was just it was a really great
clean,
experience.
high tech.
Yeah.
So, we were able to communicate well with it. We have enough Spanish, they had enough English, and it worked. It was very easy.
So it seemed like a great value, so we're happy to do that.
And then, so in Europe, when you buy like Band-Aids and I don't know, acetaminophen and all that stuff, you get it at the pharmacy. You don't get it at the grocery store like we would get it at like a major, like a Target or Walmart in the US or your grocery store. That's not really how it works in Europe that we found. So we go and get all that at a pharmacy. Now with me being sick, I got all kinds of things. It turns out that you can't get Mucinex. In Spain, France, UK, I've been looking. I didn't look in the UK because...
And it's not just Mucinex is the name brand for something that starts
that
with a G.
expectorant.
But that particular, whatever that active ingredient is...
I could not get
it. You can't find that.
I could get it with other things, but I couldn't just get it on its own like Mucinex. So that might be something if you're traveling. And we also couldn't get Pepto-Bismol, the chewable Pepto-Bismol tablets, could not get that. So that was unfortunate. And things that we are going to be adding to our medicine chest as we are traveling the world next time we're back in the U.S. But $88, that covered everything from, I buy a special toothpaste. I found I get a good one in the U.S. that has to be prescribed by a dentist. It's a high fluoride. I have one that's a less strength, but it was also bought at the pharmacy. So $88 for pharmacy stuff.
Your antibiotics too.
My antibiotics, yeah. Okay, so category, so that was healthcare, health.
So category number 2 is going to be food. We like it when this is number 1. It wasn't this month, unfortunately. It's $982 in the food category, which equates to 26.8% of our spending for the month. So not too shabby. So $777 of that was dining out. Is that right? And $205 of that was on groceries.
Okay, there are a lot of reasons why the groceries are so low. First of all, we were on a cruise of 8 days, so most of our food was taken care of there. Our most expensive 2 meals were for 4 people. We took out 2 different couples. Our friends in France, we took out for a really nice mussels lunch outside. It was just heaven. And then we took out our Sitges house owner friends for really like authentic kind of Italian pizza, which was good. That was our mussels was $69 in France. The pizza was $69 $64 in Sitges, Spain. And then the single most like per person meal that we had, most expensive, was $60, and that was at our Sri Lankan street food. So for 2 people, $60 for dinner. I mean, we're not going crazy on the dining. So the fact that it's $777 and the most expensive meal we have is $30 a person, we have been dining out quite a bit. I am also going to say that we did bring our groceries down quite a bit because of the app Too Good To Go. It's an app on our phone, and you go like for today and maybe look for later in the day or tomorrow when a grocery store or a restaurant or cafe at the end of the day when they're, or maybe the end of like lunch service where they're like, this stuff is no longer sellable, but it's still edible. They put it on this app, and we found that we did it twice in Sitges, and this time we did it 5 times. So there's a chain that's very big in the UK, Pret a Manger. We've seen a couple of them in the US and other parts of, I don't know if we've seen them outside of the UK, but it's a chain, and they tend to have a little bit healthier, fast casual food.
In Barcelona, we've seen it.
Have we?
Yeah, in Paris, we've seen it.
Have we?
Yes.
Okay. I know that we have eaten it a lot in the past. In London, we really like they have good soups and sandwiches. So we had 3 meals from Pret a Manger. We had another from I'm not going to name the one that we didn't like so much. It was kind of a rip-off. And then we went to there was one from a fancy chocolate place, and we thought that might be nice. They gave us all the old Christmas chocolate, dark chocolate. We prefer milk chocolate. We gave it to our viewer friend we met for Sri Lankan food. She was thrilled to have it. Her housemates would like it, so we were happy to not waste the calories on it. But that was our most expensive. The chocolate was our most expensive. It worked out. 5 Too Good To Go's was $26, and most of that was like real food. It wasn't like old baguettes and dessert. It was like 4 full meals.
I want to put out that this isn't about, so certainly this cheapness thing sort of factors in, but this isn't about being cheap. We actually like this.
It's so exciting.
It's so fun to see what you're going to get and
Ooh,
show
it's
up.
like trick-or-treating.
The fact that it is cheap is just a side benefit. So.
Well, that is, but it really brought our groceries down.
Yeah, it did. Yep. And we are way in the hole from earlier in the year, so maybe this is just in the vein of progress as well, but we'll see.
Okay, category number 3.
Category number 3, transportation, $676 or 18.4%.
Okay, I'm going to take on the biggest in there is $181, and that is for our Geico Non-owner policy for a car. Now, I'm going to get, if you haven't seen our January talking about this is really important. I see a lot of people in the GoWithLess group and all over the place say, I don't need car insurance when I rent a car because I have it covered by my credit card. Maybe is the answer. So because we do not have a car in the United States, we do not. So when
we don't have liability coverage.
We don't have, so again, we're not like insurance people. This is just our own experience. But if you rent a car with a car, like you're in the US, you have a car, you go on vacation, you rent a car, and you use a credit card that covers car rental insurance, it generally is covering the car itself. So if you have a car accident, it covers fixing the car. But if you hit a person on ice, you slide and hit on a school bus of kids, or you hit a person on the ice or anything like that, it is not covering the people. And that is where the bankruptcy kind of money comes in, is in that liability piece. I don't think that's covered by credit card. So really read the fine print. I have done both of those things, and that's why we do this Geico policy. So whether we are using a car from a house sit in the United States, this is only in the United States, a friend's or family's car, or a car rental, this covers us for the, like in case there's any, hopefully we never need it.
Yeah, and so this is maybe it's obvious, the name of the policy is a non-owner policy. We don't own a car, hence we have a non-owner policy.
Yeah.
So that's just something you might want to look into that if you don't own a car and you are planning on driving somebody else's car or driving a rental car.
Or ever being in the United States and driving a car.
That's right.
And here's one more thing, because this is very important. So say you're at a house sit and you drive their car and they have insurance. If you still hit a person, lawyers are going to come after you, is the reality. So you need to be insured we want to protect our assets, and that is done through this.
Bingo.
In the car. Okay.
So the next largest expense is going to be our Edinburgh train. We spent $142, so what is that, $71 each to get from Oxford up to Edinburgh. And so I think that was a good deal in terms of
We're going to talk
other
about,
options.
we made
So-
it a better deal. We'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
We also spent $75 at American Airlines. We used miles to get from Denver to Querétaro in October because we're going back to San Miguel de Allende for close to 3 months at the end of the year. And that was just taxes on American Airlines. $48 in this category is coming from Chase Sapphire Preferred card, the annual fee. I signed up for this card. I canceled my Chase Sapphire Reserve. I've had it for 4.5 years and got in on a nice bonus with the Chase Sapphire Preferred.
One quickie here. There's a good chance we're going to get that $75 back or part of it back because of our Mexican residency when we fly
from the
to
American
Mexico.
Airlines taxes.
That's right, yes.
Got it. I jumped forward. Okay, so and we take our credit card renewals and annual fees and things like that. We often just separated them into half, put half into transportation, half into accommodation because we're going to use it for flights or hotels. So you're going to see the other half come into our accommodations category. $48 went here, half of the $95 fee. $41 for a taxi from the ship cruise to the Barcelona airport. There might have been ways to hack that. I felt so sick. I did not care. I just wanted to get myself to the airport and go to sleep. And then that $38 for the Two Together pass.
Yeah, Two Together is a UK product that you buy online, and it basically gives you, if you're traveling, two people are traveling together, hence the name of the card, you get a 30% discount on train travel throughout the country. I think it's all train travel throughout the country. So this applies to the trip that we made to Edinburgh. It also applied to a trip that we purchased getting us from London into Dover in the cruise that we're taking in August. So
Yeah.
so this
And that lasts for the whole year. I think we're only using it on 2 trips is likely.
It paid for itself on the trip up to Edinburgh.
Yeah, just the one
and
trip.
And then we're saving on the trip down to Dover. So it's
So look for the Two Together Rail Pass.
That's right. If you're going to be on a train at all, you want to look at this.
Okay, then we have $91 from our cruise. We actually have that just like our credit cards. We separate half and half. And also sometimes it's like you're going to see this. So $91 in this category includes what we paid to Royal Caribbean, half of it. The other half is in accommodations. And this isn't transportation because it's kind of getting us around. Now, in this $91, we had a nice credit on some shipboard credit on Royal Caribbean. This includes not only our regular gratuities, it also includes more gratuities to our ship, our cabin steward, our lovely Ajit, our waiter, and we also gambled $100, hoping that we might
donated $100 to the casino.
But not just for the idea of fun. Yeah. Really, the idea we just did it on his name to maybe get promotions for a better deal on a cruise. Yeah. It's been almost a month later. We've seen nothing.
We haven't seen anything yet. But we have multiple friends who are they don't
don't
gamble just in general. But if you donate a little money to the casino, it seems like often they'll get offers for free cruises or discounted cruises. So we were hoping to do this in that vein. Yeah. We don't know if we did it right or not. So we'll see.
Here's the thing: if you are somebody who's getting nice deals on cruises because you gamble, we're not going to gamble much. $100 is what we did, and we would rather have had $0. How are you making that work if you're getting good deals? We'd like to know any hacks. Please comment on that below. So, okay, category number 4 is shopping. This is kind of unusual because this is me. Usually shopping is you. $449 or 12.2% of our budget. That included $429, covered 3 pairs of shoes. One was for Tim, and I got 4 new pieces of clothing.
Shoes for you. You missed those.
Okay, so Tim had 1 pair of shoes. I had 2 pairs of shoes and 3 new dresses and a nice pair of pants, all linen. I'm wearing one of the dresses right now. So we're going to be going to Southeast Asia. Normally we're in really hot places, so I wanted more like cool, summery, like linen-y things. I usually buy my clothes at like a consignment store or Goodwill, or someone gives them to me. So I was just in the mood to have some new clothes for the first time in like a while, some nice stuff. And so I got that in Oxford and was very happy to do that. And my new shoes, it was time to replace my shoes. Unfortunately, my favorite sandals that I've been wearing for I've had like 3 different pairs over years, but I could walk 10 miles in those sandals. They've discontinued them. It's an Abayo sandal. My sneakers, my tennis shoes were needing to be replaced. So we went to Skechers. We both bought, and I bought like the Arch Fit, I think they're called. They have a very high arch. So I've bought some sneakers that I've really, really liked. They're not as dorky as my other white running shoes. They're not as good. Like my white running shoes, if I wanted to go running, which I don't really do anymore, those white shoes were great. They super look dorky. My new ones are a little more fashionable. But I'm walking 10 miles in them, and they're very spongy. So I'm real happy about that.
There you go. So
okay.
That's all the shopping. So our next category is going to be entertainment.
Accommodations.
Oh, accommodations is... Oh, you're right. Accommodations at $276 or 7.5%. So most of this was associated with our cruise, the $91. The other half of the $91 was rounding out our cruise stuff. We spent $107 on our storage, which is just storing our stuff. We're putting it in the same category. We spent $48 on the other half of Amy's Chafee Sapphire Reserve card. And then we paid for a room in Rome. We're going to end our time in Europe in Rome after a cruise. We paid for that $160 some odd dollars, but it was wiped away. So it's not reflected here at all because it was wiped away with my Capital One Venture X $300 worth of annual credit. So that was here as well.
And I want to say, so $276 for accommodations is insanely low for Europe in the summer. Like crazy. Well, that is because we had 22 nights of house sits, which means we don't get paid, nor do we pay. So those are zeros in there. We paid for our cruise months before. You don't just pay for the cruise like in the month of your cruise. So because we had prepaid in earlier months, the house sits, 2 free night certificates from thanks to travel hacking, points and miles on credit cards, and like that's how it got to be so low.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's sweet. And it turns out that we've already paid for every single night of our accommodations through, I think it's through December 1st.
Awesome.
I think we are totally paid up, which is nice.
Yep, I think all of our transportation is close to that too.
Not 100%, but close.
Yeah,
okay, entertainment at $132, 3.6%.
Yeah, so the biggest chunk of this was a hop-on, hop-off bus that I did with my daughter in Barcelona right before she left. And that was $65 for the hop-on, hop-off. I want to say I'm a huge fan of this hop-on, hop-off thing. We've done a lot of free walking tours. We've heard about hop-on, hop-off. That's hard to say, for a long time.
Stop saying it then.
And, but the cool thing is you go from site to site to site. They have a little audio guide that plays in your ear, and it tells you a little bit about all the things you're passing by. So it's a great just overview. You're not getting any meat here, but it just gives you a real quick little touch of all these things around a city that you might want to go back and spend some more time doing. So I think it's a great way to get an overview of a place and then ultimately go pick out the things you really want to do and go back.
I don't think I've ever done one.
Yeah, well, it was awesome.
Okay, then we had a full day in Barcelona. We had a half day at that hotel, and we went to Parc Guell, so Gaudi's Parc. It's really a beautiful place. I was afraid that we weren't going to get in. Barcelona's crowded with a lot of tourists, so I hop on Google as we're heading on over, and I did such a newbie, rookie mistake. We called it an oops. And so it's because we don't know the lay of the land. And I just did a search for Parc Guell. Instead of going to the Parc Guell site, I went to one of the ads. I didn't even notice it until hours later. And I think we paid a $4 premium to book it through a consolidator or something. So the fact that just paying extra for anything, whatever, it happens. It was $4.
Yeah, Amy's been beating herself up for this for 30 days. So I think she's lost sleep over this.
I have not lost sleep. Don't be, you're being Amy hyperbolic. Okay, we spent $25 on a free walking tour in Oxford. I think the company's name was Footprints. It was with an Oxford graduate student who showed us not only around, we didn't go into the college, but he gave us incredible history and great storytelling. So that was $25 well spent.
And the fact that he was a student was awesome. So he gave just a lot of insight into sort of what's going on around town, why it's going on. So it was fantastic.
And when we were there, so our understanding is that unlike the U.S. where you have finals twice a year in college and university, at Oxford, you just do it when you are graduating. So finals are really big because it's the next thing on the other side of finals is graduation. So we were there during that period, and the students would have these robes with carnations. The white ones mean they're getting ready for finals. The pink ones means they're during finals, and the red means they're over. So we saw a lot of celebrating. It was really, really fun. Such good energy there. And then streaming services makes up the rest of that. So the next category is miscellaneous, $72, 2%. That's just gifts. We're going to move right on to internet and phone.
Yep, so internet and phone, $53. So there's a deal going on with Google Fi. I think it was an Amex offer, and I spent $50 and got $25 back. So basically we have $50 worth of credit on Google Fi. for $25. So that's a chunk of that. Then I had 2 SIM cards last month. I spent $5 on Orange back in Spain, and then I spent 10. That's actually €5, I guess. And then I spent £10 here for an O2 SIM when we got to the UK. It is kind of handy to have a local phone number. So one of the nice things about having a local SIM is that if you need a local phone number like we needed for the NHS, if I didn't have the SIM when Amy
Sometimes
had her
you need
issue,
it.
but it was sort of nice to have this local phone number. And I've actually used it, I think, since 1 or 2 different times for different things that made it
But
nice.
you've needed a local phone number.
That's right. And then Amy reloaded her Vodafone for €11.
$11.
$11. Oh, that's right. It was €10.
11 gigs.
Spain-based solution. And she bought it in Spain. It worked perfectly here in the UK. She has 50 gig of data, a little less when she's here in the UK.
Doesn't show it.
But
It shows
does it show?
50. Yeah,
So
yeah.
it is. So far, this has been a phenomenal solution. My Orange, not so much in terms of working in the UK.
You wish you would have had Vodafone.
I
to
wish I
start.
would have had Vodafone. Yeah.
Okay, number 9 is taxes, and that's a big 0. That brings us to $3,668 for the month, less than our $4,000. It gets us out of the hole a little bit. And for our year to date, if we're at $4,000 a month, 6 months in, we're right at the halfway point. Our $24,000 year to date target, we are at $26,245. So just a couple $1,000s over. We've had some major expenses in the first half of the year. Again, we are all paid for our accommodations through December 1st. So we're feeling pretty good about that. I see this video is going so long, so I want to wrap up real quickly with where are we going to be in July. So we are here in Edinburgh until July the 19th on a house sit. We go directly down to Sitges, Spain, where we will go right to our house sit back again, and we'll be there through the beginning of August. So only 2 spots. Lots to talk about it though. And also the weather has turned nice. So even though we mentioned how cool and drizzly and everything it was in Oxford, it was the same when we got here in Scotland. The weather has turned really lovely.
Beautiful.
So it's been a nice place to have a respite from heat around the rest of the world, I guess, in the summer. So we'll see you in the Go With Less group on Facebook. We'll see you next month. Hasta luego.
Adios.